So welcome again, everyone. Thank you for taking your time and spending a moment with us before we get to the ISE, which is very close, almost just about 2 weeks away, believe it or not. My name is Jeff Meyer. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at INOGENI, and I'm joined by 3 colleagues. I have Ryan Wilden, who's our U.S. Technical Sales Director. Ryan's based out of Utah. And at our HQ in Quebec City, I have Jerome Bolduc, who's our Director of Product Management. And we have Patrick Cannon, who's our Senior Technical Advisor. Both of them are in our main meeting room in HQ. And we're going to be taking you through this presentation on CAMTRAK and a few things just in advance of that, just to make sure you're up to speed on what we're going to be showing at ISE and a couple of updates on some products. So with that, maybe what we can do is we can pull up our slide presentation, and we'll get to the agenda slide. So I've already done this part, so we can just go ahead and jump to the agenda slide. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly go through our company slide. Some of the people that are joining are new to INOGENI, so we'll do that. Then I'm going to bring you through a couple of new products, just a few updates on them. And then we're going to jump into the main part of the presentation, which is on CAMTRAK, including a live demo. And just so you know, we are going to do some Q&A, but we're going to do that at the end. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and put it in the chat. That's going to stay parked there in the chat until the end, and then we're going to go through all of your questions at the end. Okay, but definitely ask your questions. This isn't a live webinar in that we're taking live questions by voice. It's all going to be in the chat. That's just the way it's been set up. And with that, let's get into it. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so for those of you who are somewhat new to INOGENI, let me just give you a quick overview of who we are. INOGENI is based in Quebec City in Canada. We're a Canadian company. And we design, engineer, and manufacture there. So all of our products are made in Canada. And Jerome and his team and all of his colleagues, we actually design and engineer everything in-house, do our own test benching, et cetera. So it allows us to really be close to our products. And the products that we're producing are sitting in between what you see here, the camera or other source devices and the compute. So we help you mix, switch, convert, and extend those AV signals. And our specialty is converting a lot of these traditional AV signals over to the USB world. We're definitely one of the best, if not the best in the world at doing that. All of our products come with a 5-year warranty, which is nice to know. So some projects that you'll work with in higher education or sometimes government require 5 years of warranty. The good news is that's built into all of our products, regardless of what project you're working on. Our products are also TAA compliant. That's not valid for everybody here, but for those who have sensitive projects that maybe are with the government or related to the US government or something like that, we are TAA compliant, which means that we can be used in those projects. And we're compatible by design. Just a real quick point on that, you know, pretty much any of the brands that you want to plug our products into, it's going to work. And we've tested with just about every manufacturer out there. And here's the 4 main product categories that we operate in. So we have mixers or switchers, camera mixers and switchers. We have converters in the bottom left. That's our most traditional product category. We have BYOD and BYOM switchers in the upper right. And in the bottom right, we have USB extenders. So in brief, going back to the upper left, the camera mixers and switchers, it's all about adding cameras to a meeting space and allowing you to share those intelligently. So, and of course, the big addition to this area is our CAMTRAK. We're going to be going through that, but some of the products that are already in this product line, like our CAM230, work with the CAMTRAK. So it'd be interesting to bring you through that. Converters, that's in the lower left. We're one of the best in the business, if not the best, at converting traditional AV signals over to the USB world and vice versa. So if you haven't tried those, you definitely want to do that. And then we have our switchers, the BYOD and BYOM switchers. So this is probably the biggest development we've done in the last couple of years. This is allowing you to have a simple USB connection in the room to connect to all the devices in the room, like the camera, microphone, speaker, the display, and have a meeting from your laptop or tablet, and easily switch between those and say the Teams room that's in the room. And then finally, extenders. These are USB extenders. This is one of the newest categories we have. They're best in class and allows you to transmit USB 3 over up to 100 meters distance, for example. And we have a few new products in this space as well. So those are the four main categories we operate in. Okay, and then in terms of new products, just to bring you up to speed. So first, we have CAMTRAK. So it's now shipping. I know we got you by surprise a little bit there, but we've been working on this behind the scenes for a long time, and we decided to go ahead and get it shipping even before ISE. So if you're interested to order that, just to make sure I don't forget to tell you, you can order it now, and you can even order demo units. In addition, we have our IP to USB converter. This is our first IP device, basically, that allows you to transfer IP signals over to the USB world. That's slightly behind, but it's still scheduled to come out in Q1, hopefully in March. And then also shipping is our latest USB extender. It's our UBridge 3, which is a USB 3 extender, but it's a wall plate version. So the device side is the wall plate, and that's available now, and it's shipping. Also toggle dock, which is the most recent BYOD, BYOM switch that we've launched. That's our entry level with video. Think about it, if you know our toggle, which is our best-selling product in our history, this is the toggle plus video. Very, very helpful entry-level solution for small spaces. And then finally, we have our UBridge USB-C. So the UBridge USB-C is similar to our USB extenders, but if you've studied those, our UBridge USB 3 will send full high bandwidth data over distance, over up to 100 meters, but it won't support DP alt mode or DisplayPort alt mode. That's what our UBridge USB-C is designed. It's actually designed to extend a USB-C cable effectively. What you think of is what you're getting with the USB-C over distance up to 70 meters. And so this is also a little bit behind schedule. It's going to be coming out in Q2. So we have another product that's actually caught up with it. It's a sister product of the UBridge USB-C, and that's our UBridge USB-C Duo. So let's go to the next slide. I think we've got a few slides on this. So what's nice about the UBridge USB-C Duo is, think of this product, by the way, as sort of like your docking station that you have at your desk. But it's got an extension built into it for 70 meters of distance. And if you like that you have two displays at your desktop, or obviously in a meeting room, this device will support that in full extended mode format. So just like you would get at your PC desktop that you use for your office. So this is caught up with it, and it's operates exactly the same way as our UBridge USB-C. It's a full DP alt mode extender with power, so 100 watts of injected power. It comes with a power supply. That's actually a relatively new development. We decided to include it in the box. And so that's also going to be shipping probably in Q2, and that's the MSRP in US dollars, so that'll vary slightly depending upon where you're based. And this is more or less the look you're going to get in terms of the application and design. Great little product. It's really going to solve a lot of problems, and hopefully will make our system designer customers really, really happy. Okay, so that's my part, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton over to Ryan Wilden. Ryan and the rest of the crew at HQ are going to take you through CAMTRAK. Ryan?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. Really excited to give you a demonstration of CAMTRAK this morning and really be able to highlight the capabilities of this. Just a quick note, someone mentioned in chat, this is being recorded, so this will be available later as well. So, and as Jeff mentioned, please, type your questions in chat if you have questions. At the end, we'll have a kind of a time frame where we can do some Q&A and respond to some of those questions, and even test some scenarios if you'd like with us within the room. So really excited to have you. Really the idea behind CAMTRAK is it comes back to that basic premise of camera tracking. And if you've ever tried to make camera tracking feel natural in conference rooms, classrooms, or live collaboration spaces, it's harder than it sounds. CAMTRAK was built to be intelligent, reliable, or to provide intelligent, reliable camera tracking and make that simple, scalable, and camera agnostic. So that's a key feature of CAMTRAK, and without forcing you into a closed ecosystem. So that's really a unique thing that we feel like we're bringing to the table here. So after a quick overview, we're going to move straight into a live demo where we'll show real-time tracking, camera handoffs, and also transitions. So everything you're seeing is happening live, not pre-recorded. We also want this to be interactive, so please feel free to drop questions in the chat as we go. We'll have time at the end for open discussion. So the goal today is to show you how CAMTRAK behaves in real-world scenarios, and not just ideal ones. So you'll get to see how it reacts to movement, how the transitions feel, and also how it can be tuned depending on the room and use case. So with that, let's quickly walk through a few slides to set some context, and then we'll jump straight into the CAMTRAK demo. So again, as I mentioned, really CAMTRAK is really designed at the end of the day to bring people closer together, to provide that real interactive experience with camera tracking, to be able to spotlight the speaker in the room. There's a lot to be told about people's facial expressions and body language that really adds a lot of depth to a meeting and helping people to understand content and to be able to understand context for various different things in a conference room environment. So we're really excited to be able to do that with CAMTRAK. We do this by utilizing SHURE microphones. So currently what we're doing is we're integrating with SHURE to more or less get the API from these SHURE devices. And we're able to take that API data from these various different microphones and SHURE devices to be able to trigger camera presets. And then based on the active location of the speaker in the room, we're then able to trigger different presets within that space. You'll notice there in the middle, there's kind of a little photo there of CAMTRAK, and there's really two different versions of CAMTRAK. There's a CAMTRAK standard version that supports up to 4 SHURE devices or 4 mics. And up to 8 cameras. And then there's also CAMTRAK Pro, which is the professional version that will support up to 8 SHURE devices or microphones and up to 12 cameras. So there's really a lot of flexibility to be able to go into spaces where either big or small, to be able to provide that really interactive experience with cameras and being able to utilize that tracking. So this is a great slide to kind of show you the overall ecosystem for CAMTRAK. On the top left, you'll see that the various different microphones that we operate with from SHURE, the MXCW, MXW Next, MXA 310, MXA 710, MXA 901, and MXA 920. There's some very unique features about the MXA 901 and 920 that make this a very compelling solution. And a lot of you are probably familiar with that technology, but SHURE has a really unique technology called voice activity detection that allows us to really fine-tune and pinpoint the active speaker in a room, which really makes that for a very seamless experience for those various different people and presets that you have within a space. Top right is really where I think CAMTRAK really shines and really opens up this capability to a lot of folks. There are a lot of people, a lot of organizations out there that have spent a great deal of money on cameras and devices over the years, and they don't want to have to necessarily forklift and remove those cameras to go in and put something else in or be locked into a closed ecosystem. So this is really a great solution and really supports a wide variety of cameras and devices or cameras from various different manufacturers. You're able to utilize our video converter for IP to USB, which will allow you to do up to 12 cameras. So that's a very cool capability. And then you can also even utilize our traditional video camera switchers like our CAM 300, CAM230, and even our SHURE to you. So utilizing those camera switchers, you can integrate USB cameras, HDMI cameras. So even for legacy rooms where there may not be cameras that have NDI or RTSP for camera feeds, you're able to utilize those USB and HDMI signals. We do have a launch partner in Canon. As I did mention, we are camera agnostic, but there are some unique features that Canon does bring to the table that we're very excited about being able to integrate into our platform. For those that are a little bit more technical, it's called the XC protocol, but we're able to do some really unique things with that. And there are even some things that we're looking at and developing in behind the scenes in our kind of our roadmap of this product for software that will allow us to enable other features down the road. So there's some really, really cool things that we're able to do there, including tally lights. So there's a lot of really great capabilities with those Canon cameras, and we're excited to be partnered with Canon. We will also have a presence in the Canon booth at ISE. So if you're coming to ISE, obviously stop by our booth first and foremost, but we'd love to have you stop by the Canon booth as well. It's in Hall 3, 3N300 is the stand number for that. So definitely plan to stop by their booth as well. So really the idea for CAMTRAK is to accommodate a wide range of needs. So from medium corporate meeting rooms, classrooms, large boardrooms, lecture halls. We've had some universities already reach out and say, hey, we'd love to be able to put this into this lecture hall where we have, you know, a large kind of auditorium, and it's definitely capable of doing that. So integrating this with multiple SHURE devices and SHURE microphones to be able to cover large spaces is really where CAMTRAK shines. So we're very excited about those capabilities. One thing I wanted to note, we do have some videos on the website. Definitely encourage you to go to inogeni.com to our CAMTRAK section and really dive into these various different application use cases. There's videos on there that kind of show how this can be utilized with different cameras and really where camera placement comes into play and how that makes a difference as well. So definitely encourage you to check that out. One thing I like about CAMTRAK is it was developed with a wizard. So at the beginning of CAMTRAK, when you open the software, it is a web UI that's embedded on the device. You're able to go to that wizard and configure these various different devices through the wizard. If you prefer to go step by step or tab by tab into the software, you can tab through it and also go through the various sections and set those up independently as well. So it's really kind of tailored to a wide range of users to be able to go in and configure this and set this up properly. CAMTRAK leverages this camera auto tracking and auto framing that you see in cameras as well, and we'll be able to highlight that as well today. So at the front of that room there, you'll see that there's kind of a zone that we have in our conference room today. We'll show you it's at the back of the room, but you can go in and predefine zones for actual camera tracking. So and what I mean by that is obviously CAMTRAK will track independent presets and zones throughout the room. But you can also designate a zone anywhere in the room where you might have a whiteboard or something, and you want to utilize the auto framing or auto tracking capabilities within a camera and designate that zone as an auto framing or auto tracking zone. So we are transparent to that. We can also enable and disable that feature specifically with Canon cameras. So that's another feature that I mentioned that's really cool and that we're excited to be able to integrate into CAMTRAK. So really the ideal though is to be able to provide that, you know, participant view so that people can really be immersed in that conference room experience. There are multiple camera angles per speaker for that natural camera switching feel. We're really excited about that. We feel like that really sets us apart and gives us some really unique capabilities, especially for the value of what CAMTRAK would ultimately be sold for. So this is a really cool feature in that it essentially allows you to provide a good, better, best for each preset location within that room. So every preset location or preset defined space where someone may be sitting and you want a camera to be preset to go to that specific zone, we can provide up to 3 different angles per speaker zone. And really, at the end of the day, we're trying to provide for a seamless and natural camera switching. So you'll be able to see that during the live presentation as how the cameras interact. You won't ever see cameras panning or tilting or zooming live. We're really trying to provide much like a broadcast environment where you would have someone with a camera switcher that's switching between multiple different camera views inside of a conference space. So very smooth and natural transitions. Here's also kind of a line diagram that explains CAMTRAK for our traditional CAM 300, CAM 230, or USB HDMI switchers, and how that might function. So you can get an idea there of how that may interact or integrate with like a SHURE P300, for instance, that provides for a USB connection to your video conferencing system, and while still being able to provide for audio and video and camera tracking in that space. Jeff mentioned this earlier, but this is our IP to USB that will be shipping next month. This really adds some expanded capabilities that's going to really take CAMTRAK to the next level. And this really provides for a great variety of devices to be able to integrate into a conference space. Again, up to 12 cameras. So that's a fairly large space that you could utilize this in. So here you get kind of an idea of the architecture behind an IP to USB. Using that 2-channel Dante audio, you're able to basically take the audio directly from the SHURE IntelliMix into our IP to USB. You can use the audio out to be able to drive Dante-enabled speakers. So this is a really cool kind of drawing that shows how simple you can really make these conference rooms now utilizing CAMTRAK and our IP to USB. Just a quick overview of the software here. You kind of get an idea about how the software is set up and how we can really go in and fine-tune and create some really fine-tuned adjustments to be able to do these camera switching presets. There's again up to 3 different views per speaker location. You can set priorities. So if you have a chairman or a vice president that's sitting in the room and you want to make their seat position a higher priority, you can prioritize locations, things like that. So it really does provide for flexibility to be able to go into space and make that space as functional as possible. Why we feel like INOGENI CAMTRAK is the ultimate choice is really it's going to provide that smooth and natural voice activated switching. We're camera agnostic, so there's the most flexible camera choices on the market, and being able to even integrate some legacy devices for USB and HDMI, that's going to be huge. And there's broad compatibility. SHURE has been an industry leader for microphones in the industry for a long time, and we really feel like that provides us an edge to be able to provide this capability in spaces where customers already have existing microphones and existing SHURE equipment. And again, we're transparent to AI cameras, which really makes this unique and flexible. And being able to provide 2 different versions is also, we feel, very important to be able to provide the value at the lower price point, but still some great capabilities, and then that expanded capability for the Pro version. And then that wizard and easy configurator, we feel like will really make this a very simple and seamless solution. As far as pricing, the MSRP for CAMTRAK Standard is $29.95 in US dollars. And the MSRP of the CAMTRAK Pro solution is $39.95 in US dollars. This is field upgradable, by the way. So if you purchase CAMTRAK and the customer decides later to add additional microphones or cameras beyond the additional or the original intended installation or design, that can be upgraded in the field with a license. And then just kind of lastly, we do have some CAMTRAK demo kits available. They are very, very popular, so definitely get in contact with us if you're interested in demoing CAMTRAK. We do send these out for a 30-day demo. It comes with one of our CAMTRAKs and CAM 230s and also a Pelican case where everything's enclosed. So definitely order this. We do have limited quantities of these, but if you'd like to test this live in your environment, and especially if you've got SHURE microphones and cameras in that space, then we definitely encourage you to do this. And I will just mention quickly, we even have had some customers that have wanted to test out the NDI capability, and you can do that with a free installation to download OBS and test those capabilities. So we've had some customers do that as well, and a great way to test those spaces for NDI and IP, which is coming with our IP to USB. And that's it. So we're going to switch over to the live demo. So really what I'm going to do here. Oh, lastly, there's one other thing I want to cover. This is our booth location for ISE. For anyone that's attending, we're going to be in 2W640. So definitely recommend that you come by the booth for that. And definitely come and see a live demo of this in person as well. You can kind of kick the tires on what we have set up there. And now we'll kind of switch over and do a live demo. So I'm going to stop the presentation here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight the Pro AV conference room so that everybody can really get this, in large screen format and really be able to see the capabilities here. So what I've done is I prepared a few questions. I've selected kind of a panel style format for these questions to highlight these capabilities and the performance of CAMTRAK. And the team in Quebec may also highlight some unique scenarios as we go. And so we're really excited to show you this. First, we'll start with a few questions. So let's start with Patrick. Patrick, what are some real world use cases you see for CAMTRAK, and where would you deploy a solution like this?
I mean, it can be used in almost any room types. It can be used in conference rooms with multiple presenters, training rooms, classrooms, boardrooms, and executive spaces, hybrid town halls, and courtrooms, council chambers, worship spaces, classrooms.
Yeah, fantastic. Jerome, this one's for you. What are some of the benefits behind the approach that we're taking with CAMTRAK?
This is an excellent question, Ryan. We're not just tracking movement, but we are tracking intent. So if you're already used to with our switchers and selectors and mixers, we strongly believe that smooth human-like transition are matter most than aggressive framing. We want to also avoid any camera hunting and jitter with our solution. And with CAMTRAK, the transition are as important as tracking accuracy. So with solution that already embeds auto tracking functionality, that can be quite useful. And also predictable behavior or flashy behavior. So mainly due to the fact that we are using, for example, in this room, the MXA 920 with a VAD voice activity detection that completes the whole setup. And also the CAMTRAK is some kind of a solution where you can set it and forget it. So you can install it into the rack and then you can almost forget about it. And lastly, with CAMTRAK, it's designed for rooms that are used daily. So it's not for demo room. So with a setup similar like this one, it's really suitable.
Yeah, that's a great point. I love the points you made about set it and forget it operation, and that predictable behavior is really important. I think the idea is really to make the technology transparent so that people won't really know it's there. It really provides for that integrated experience, but they're not focused on the technology and what it's doing or what it's not doing. So Patrick or Jerome, what are some of the benefits of CAMTRAK as it relates to camera selection?
As you already mentioned, Ryan, the CAMTRAK is camera agnostic, so it allows you to reuse any camera you already have or just any type of camera that's available on the market. So as we do here, we have our CAM300 switcher that uses a Logitech rally bar for the wide view of the room. And we also have 3 PTZ cameras, which are Canons, for tracking the people here. And we also support, in fact, we're transparent to all the AI behavior that are embedded in the cameras. So for instance, we have one of the Canon cameras here with tracking enabled, and we dedicated a zone at the back of the room. So if I speak from there, normally it will switch automatically to me. And if I move around, the camera will follow me. So I'll be able, as we would do in the classroom, to go to the whiteboard and then right from there and explain the. So it's pretty flexible. If I head up to the table, we dedicated another zone for this particular seat, and it will switch over to another camera with another preset. And as you can see, it's quite smooth using our CAM300 switchers.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love that there's that capability to be able to be transparent to those tracking spaces as well. So that's a very cool feature. So let's open this question up to discussion in the room there. So what are some room design and deployment considerations when using CAMTRAK? What would be the key factors there?
As you all may all may be aware, room size and layout is impacting tracking behavior. So it's really important to meet those requirements. And right now we are only supporting SHURE equipment. We had some question into the chat if we are supporting other manufacturers, other audio manufacturers. So this is something definitely in the roadmap. So it should be coming shortly, but as of now, we support all of those SHURE equipment that Ryan described. Also, ceiling height and camera placement is also important in order to get multiple shots of a specific zone. So it's something that you can configure on your side. And also in the web interface, one zone can have multiple views, and in the web interface, we describe this as a good, better, best approach. So depending on where you would like to emphasize on, so you can configure that through the web interface. And also set up with a multiple presenter versus single presenters could change a little bit. So it's depending on the type of use case you would like to go to. And also you can have zones, priorities, and handoff logic that may depend on some particular setups.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point that I really like is being able to really design this solution with minimal numbers of cameras or adding additional cameras to really provide for really finite adjustment for capabilities for good, better, best in those rooms. So that's kind of a unique thing. Doubling up cameras in locations where it makes sense as well would be interesting. So that's great. So Patrick or Jerome, are there any situations where you would not want to use CAMTRAK or any kind of camera tracking solution?
I would say that rooms where you want to have fixed shots are preferred, and also huddle spaces, very small rooms with having camera tracking. I would say multiple cameras in small setup. It's not ideal, but I would say with that type of room that we are already in right now, it's really suitable with 3 and 4 cameras basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, that we even had a customer reach out and ask about using this in broadcast environments. And one unique situation I thought was really cool is they wanted to use this in a podcast studio. So that's really, really cool to be able to bring that kind of technology to a lot of different applications and use spaces, especially with our tally light capabilities and really being able to integrate those things with the solution. So I mean, that's really the idea, is that CAMTRAK is a tool. It's not a requirement, and room consideration will definitely play a factor in this. So lastly, we're going to kind of switch over to questions in the chat and kind of answer some of those. And then if we have any questions, we'll just kind of walk through those a little bit as we go here. So starting at the top, Shane asked, how much programming is required to set up the room on the back end using the web GUI? Is it closer to plug and play, or do you still need to set specific camera presets to be recalled based on the XYZ coordinate the SHURE camera feeds the CAMTRAK? And could we show the GUI? So Patrick, I don't know if you're interested and you want to share the GUI of the software really quickly.
Yeah, maybe I'm just going to join the meeting myself, or yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then while you're pulling that up, I'll answer the question. So Shane, regarding the web GUI, I would say it's probably a combination of plug and play. There is going to be some time that you're going to have to dedicate to going in and setting up the presets, for instance. The presets do have to be predefined on the cameras or via the software. So that's really going to be, I would say, the bulk of the time is going in and really setting up those presets. But you'll kind of see that as we kind of show you the software here. So Patrick, if you just want to do a quick overview, maybe, and especially focus on the SHURE integration there at the end, showing how the microphones are able to be identified in the room. I think that will be helpful.
Yeah, for sure. So first thing first, when you create your room design, you just need to connect your microphones. I should have gone through the first page. So here we select the number of devices we need for our system. In instance, we only have one mic here, but we, as you mentioned, with the CAMTRAK standard, you can go up to 4 devices. So I would have been able to select up to 4 devices. So since we selected only one, we only have one box here. So we just have to enter the IP address of the microphone. It will be detected automatically. So once it's done, you can see the light flashing here. So it means that the data comes in and out of the microphone and we have connection. The device model will also be populated here. Here we select the number of channel we want to use or number of zones. So since we're using the MX920 that is able to get the XYZ coordinates, we can go up to a lot of channels. We haven't tested the limit yet, but it's quite a lot.
Yeah, I will say that that's a unique feature. I just wanted to mention that is unique. So even though there are 8 channels in an MXA 920, Patrick made a great point. You know, really, because we're using voice activity detection, we're able to allow for a large number of presets or zones within that space. So that's really cool. Patrick, would you, if you want, just quickly to go through maybe the next few tabs just to show the interface, and then I'd like to spend maybe a couple minutes on showing them the SHURE integration with that room designer software.
All right. So from the next tab here, we connect the cameras. So as we mentioned, we have 4 cameras here. The first one is not really connected. It's a standard rally bar that uses a USB connection. So we just leave it alone. We don't interfere with it. We just leave it as a auto framing camera. And we also have 3 Canon cameras here. So we connect to them and select the protocol for the control. So as you can see, we're compatible with almost all the PTZ control that are available on the market. So when those cameras are connected, same principle, we have an orange button here that allow to ping the camera, and you'll see the data coming in and out of the CAMTRAK. Just to make sure we have the right one, you can also use the zoom in, zoom out, and PTZ controls to make sure you selected the right camera. From there, you can also create and recall your presets, but personally, I'd rather use the camera web interface to do so. And here we have the switcher connection. As mentioned earlier, we use the CAM300 in this room. We are also compatible with our CAM230, which can manage 2 USB cameras as well as one USB, as one HDMI, sorry. And we also able to control the share to you, but just as a switcher. We're not there yet with the multi-window, but we're working on this. We'll also be able to connect with the INOGENI NDI router, which is embedded to the CAMTRAK. So as mentioned, we can use NDI cameras, and the router is embedded to the CAMTRAK. So with the IP to USB that will come in soon, it will be able to take the NDI feed that's coming out of the CAMTRAK.
Very cool. Yeah, I love that we'll be able to integrate with these various different devices, and as you mentioned, the capability of being able to do multi-window is definitely something that we're working on. So definitely stay tuned for that. And that is another unique thing about CAMTRAK, is because it's all a software-based appliance. We can go in and really add additional features and capabilities to this product as we are able to develop those. So very excited. And then lastly, just for time, if you can show, that's perfect. That the channel table setup, that's perfect.
So here we have the logic table that enables all the selected zones or audio channel. As you can see here, when I speak, the voice is detected and we see where it's coming from. So it's easy to manage the zone and move them around and adjust them accordingly. We have also here the channels. So that's where we can select which cameras and which preset will be selected from the 3 views we're compatible with. So we can select the view A, view B, and view C. As you mentioned, we're able to get 3 views for each zones or each seat, depending on your design.
Oh, that's
We
great.
also have 3 special situations here. So if nobody's speaking, we can trigger a preset or a camera switch. Same thing for if you are speaking at the other end. And if Jerome and I would be speaking at the same time, we could have another situation and recall another preset. For instance, we selected the same camera and same preset for all those situations, but it could be different.
Yeah, that's good. That's really cool. I love that there's that flexibility when, there's multiple different use cases that are, or not use cases, but multiple different scenarios where the camera needs to, pan back out and capture a wide view of the room as well. So that's a very cool thing. So yeah, that's kind of I appreciate you pulling that up and sharing that, Patrick. If you want to stop sharing, we can just answer a few more questions. Don asks, can you mask out part of a zone, avoid windows, hallways, and doors? Yes, absolutely. And you do that through the SHURE Designer software in terms of, setting up the room. And then within our software, you can really only place or you can place those preset zones exactly where you need them. So if you want to pull it, off of a window or door or anything like that, you can definitely shorten up those preset zones to kind of mask those out. Bree asked if there is an in-room conversation where the active speaker changes quickly, does the CAMTRAK go to a default room view instead of switching between cameras the whole time? So Patrick answered that question. Yes, it does. So when there's no active speaker, or if there's multiple people that are speaking, within that space, we can zoom out and capture a wide shot of the room. Robert asked, will you support other microphones such as the Sennheiser Team Connect? Jerome answered that question earlier. So that is something that we're looking at and something that's in our kind of roadmap. Can you get a signal flow diagram for this demo room? Absolutely. We should be able to kind of put something together quickly for you there. We do also have the diagrams that are available on the website as well. So those resources are definitely available. Don also asked, can CAMTRAK activate a camera's track presenter function? Yes. So that was one of the things that Patrick showcased there at kind of in the middle of the discussion, where we cut to the camera and allowed them to kind of walk back and forth. So we are transparent to those capabilities within those different areas. Rob asked, is there a way to turn the tracking focus off and just use the center overall shot? Patrick or Jean, let's ask you guys. What is there a way to turn off that tracking and capability and just use the room shot?
Yeah, for sure. You can disable the tracking from the web interface as well as from the API, so any control system will be able to disable it.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like, and so that's a great point that you bring up as well, Patrick, is that it does feature a full API, so we can integrate with third-party control systems to activate global presets. Like we mentioned, there are different. Sometimes there are rooms that have multiple configurations, so you can basically trigger a global preset based on that room configuration, and you're able to do that from a third-party control system as well. So that's a unique capability with this solution. Debbie asked, is the camera tracking just body shape or faces? And what if two people enter the presentation zone? Will it track the first presenter or will it track both? Jerome, I'll let you answer that, but I think it probably depends on the camera, I would guess, correct?
Yeah, you're right. So depending on the camera you're using, so we are only interfacing in terms of control of the camera. So we're not, let's say, analyzing video signals from them. So it's everything relies on the camera, and it depends on the camera model and manufacturer. So it's
okay. Yeah, makes sense. Gary asked this question, but I think we answered this. Are there any multi-camera views, for example, picture-in-picture side by side? We are working on that with some of our mixers and switchers. So kind of stay tuned for that. Don asked, what is the shortest setting for cutting into active speaker? Looks like 3 seconds, but I think that's 2.5 seconds, Patrick, if that's correct.
Yeah, exactly. That's the shortest we're currently supporting. We don't want the switch. We don't want it to switch just with the person saying yes or just coughing in the room. So that's the reason why we just limited to 2.5 seconds.
Makes sense. Hey, Jeff, if you'll unmute, I'll ask you this question. Don asked also, how do we sign up for CAMTRAK demo kit, and do we need to be an active dealer?
So you just send us an email at sales@inogeni.com. I'll put that in the chat, and you can ask us for a demo unit. Depending upon where you are, we'll either ship it to you through a distributor, or we can try to ship it to you directly. You don't have to be a direct dealer to get a demo unit from us. Yeah, so just get in contact and we'll get you taken care of.
Great. Thanks for answering. Jay asked, do you have any pro services or assisted commissioning service to configure CAMTRAK? Patrick, since you're the senior technical advisor on CAMTRAK, I'll let you answer that one.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, he was asking if we have any pro services, which we don't. I'll answer that portion of it. But assisted commissioning services, and I believe the answer is yes, but I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, same thing as for the sales. You can write to support@inogeni.com or just reach out our 1-800 number, and we'll be glad to help you out designing and commissioning the system.
Perfect. Jadaput asked, is this model compatible with the QSys Core DSP and cameras? Also, is there a plugin available to support this integration? We are compatible with the cameras, depending on whether or not they support VSCO over IP. But there's not any direct integration with the QSys Core DSP necessarily. The DSP could be utilized for audio, obviously, into any room that doesn't necessarily need or rely on CAMTRAK. But it could definitely be integrated into that environment. And he also asked if there is or will be a plugin available to support that integration. Jerome?
This is something that we are looking. So basically, we wanted to have some kind of a support with QSys and Crestron control processors. So this is something that would be available in the upcoming month. So we already have a basic API right now, so it's already available on our website. But however, we don't have the control plugin now. So if customers would like to start it from scratch, this is something possible. But yeah, like we do with all of our products, those modules will be available after the launch.
Okay. Yeah, this is probably another good one for you as well, Jerome. Will we be issuing a list of authorized hardware that works with CAMTRAK?
Yeah, this is a good question also. This is something that will be in the works. So like we are already doing with our SHURE and CAM devices, we would support CAMTRAK into that list. So these would be tested peripherals, so that we tested in-house. And so similar to what we have right now, I would say that since CAMTRAK is mostly designed to work with NDI cameras, so I would say compatibility could be quite great. So if you're using the IP to USB, or if you're using the SHURE 2U CAM 300, so the same compatibility remains, since the CAMTRAK is operating the device remotely through IP. So but yeah, stay tuned. This list will be updated really soon.
Yeah, that's great. A great point, by the way. And since we've got a captive audience, I think that's important to note. Oftentimes on our website, we list compatible devices. If devices are not listed there, that doesn't necessarily mean they are not compatible. Obviously, there are hundreds or thousands of devices on the market. We're not able to test them all. But we do have a list of devices that we have tested. If you have any questions, obviously, as you're designing this solution or any of our solutions, feel free to reach out to support at any time to double check on that. One of the questions was, does CAMTRAK software run on an Apple or Mac? I'll answer that one. I'm a big Mac guy myself, but it does operate necessarily. It doesn't operate necessarily on a Mac, but because it's web UI or web based, you can set it up and configure it and do everything on a Mac that you could do on a Windows machine as well. So great question. We'll get to a few more questions here. I know we're coming up close to the hour, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. But Don asked, does the type of NDI HX codec matter with IP to USB?
Yes, in order to have, I would say, the maximum performance with the IP to USB, we recommend to use NDI HX. So basically, all of camera manufacturers that advertising NDI capability, they are HX capable.
Exactly. Okay, great. Don also asked, are there delays that can be programmed in, especially when a conversation dies down? And then also kind of a follow-up to that, how many wide presets per camera?
Can you repeat that again? I am not sure.
Yeah, so I'll do the first one. I guess he's asking if there are delays that can be programmed in. I think the answer to that one is yes, Patrick. We can program in some delays in terms of switching between the different cameras.
Yeah, exactly. You can add up delays, but it's global. It's not per zones.
Okay, perfect. That's great.
But you can set up priorities for certain zones.
Okay. Don asked a great question as well. What is the minimal camera count to allow for natural transitions? I think I would probably say 3, but what are your thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I would say 3 as well, because as we have here, we have 2 cameras on each side of the monitor, and we have a wide view of the room. So when nobody's speaking or only the far end is speaking, we have a wide view of the room. So in order to see everybody. But yeah, we have left and right cameras in order to get a perpendicular view of the person speaking.
Okay, that's a great point. Isaac asked, can you clarify what we mean by microphones in the context of how many microphones the CAMTRAK supports? Really, that's kind of a great point. We mentioned four devices. There can be up to 4 SHURE devices or up to 8 devices on Pro that can be utilized. And I'll just answer that quickly because, that's going to depend. So if you have 4 MXA 920s, CAMTRAK standard would support up to 4 MXA 920s, for instance. But you may utilize in a space 2 MXA 920s. And SHURE also makes a really cool, PoE powered switch or mute button. So you could also utilize that as a device. So it depends on the device there, but even a P300 could be utilized as a device as well. So he asked, would the MXA 920 take up all the microphones, or would it count as one? It would count as one individual device. So we're not looking at the number of lobes or number of channels that microphone supports. We're really focused on the actual physical device itself. Patrick asked, will the slideshow be available later so I don't have to screen capture every page? Great question. Yes, we can definitely make that available. So great question, Patrick. Jim asked, can you have multiple manufacturers in the same system? Jerome, that's a great question.
Yes, definitely. So you can plug whatever type of camera, so from Aver, Canon, Sony, Panasonic, so it doesn't matter. So as soon as they are USB, HDMI, or NDI, so it's completely transparent to those manufacturers.
Okay, cool. A couple more minutes here. We got. I know we're pushing up on the hour, but we'll answer a couple more here. Can camera presets for zones be changed or altered live during an active meeting or on the fly? I'll go ahead and answer that one. No, they can't. It does need to be predefined via the camera interface or via CAMTRAK in advance. So they can't be changed or altered or modified during the meeting. So as you're setting it up, I mean, live right now, if Patrick went in and modified those, yes, but obviously that wouldn't be the case for most people. But yeah, you can do it live in terms of where Patrick is in the room now, he could adjust those, but it's not necessarily something that you would probably do on a regular basis. So Shay asks, so how is it actually controlling these third-party cameras? One assumes by using this XC protocol that we mentioned over IP and also via one of your camera switchers. So, Jerome, go ahead. Go ahead and answer that one.
Yeah. So you can go with the XC protocol with Canon with the Canon cameras. However, you can go throh Viscover IP, or if you want to go to Panasonic, they have all of their API based on the HTTP. So this is something it's really well documented into the user guide of the CAMTRAK, how to properly set this up, depending on the camera brands and so on. So it's we support all of the major camera control protocol.
Okay, great. Kyle asked, is there a roadmap for when future support for other equipment manufacturer microphones will be available? I don't know that we have a dedicate or a set timeline for that at this point in time, though, correct?
Timeline for what?
For integrating like Sennheiser, for instance, or other camera
so
or microphones. Yeah.
You pinpoint, I would say that the next manufacturer to support. So this one would be the next one to target. And I would say in the upcoming month, this is something that we would like to consider in order to support TCC2 or TCM ceiling tiles. So would be something to consider.
Okay, great. David asked two questions, but I'm going to just for kind of use of time here. Will there be another demo host or video of large boardroom with a larger number of people and another of a real classroom? The answer is yes. We're actually working to identify a university that we can potentially install this in that environment and do some live video recordings. The trick that we're finding is that you have to get students' approval to be recorded. So we've had conversations with a couple of universities, and that was a fact that we hadn't considered. So we are working on that, but it may be a bit of time before we're able to coordinate that to be able to get those taken care of. David also asked, the zones are on the MT300 or the SHURE mic. Yeah, so they're basically based on the SHURE Designer software. So the SHURE Designer basically allows you to create the room, but then we actually go in, and I think he meant MT300, but potentially maybe talking about the CAMTRAK. So that the zones are actually predefined on the CAMTRAK. So you go in and you create those zones and modify those zones in the SHURE in the CAMTRAK software that Patrick showed earlier. Don asked about loading in a room layout behind the individual coverage zone editor. You can do that, correct, Patrick? When you import it, brings in the actual design from SHURE Designer, correct?
Exactly. I don't know if you noticed in the screen sharing, but there was a darker gray area. There was the areas defined within the SHURE Designer software that were imported to the software of the CAMTRAK.
Okay, great. Nelson asked is AVB mic support on the roadmap? I'll quickly answer that one. No, we're only supporting Dante at this point in time. There are a couple of other questions, but I think due to time, I think Jeff, if you don't mind, we'll turn this back over to you, and then we'll kind of go through, and I'll follow up on this Q&A and just respond to some of these questions. And if you have questions that we haven't answered, or you come up with additional questions after the call, please reach out to myself, the technical director here in the U.S., for any U.S. inquiries, or definitely contact support at inogeni.com, and they can answer any of the additional questions that we may not have answered, or if there's any questions regarding compatibility. But really appreciate your time today, and Jeff, I'll turn it back over to you to wrap things up.
Thanks, Brian. So thank you, everybody, for all of your time this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are. We really appreciate you. And yeah, you'll get a copy of the presentation, so don't worry about all of the screenshotting. And lots of really good questions today, so thank you. We obviously are going to do more of these. So this is just the first in a series of webinars. This will be the last one we'll do leading up to ISE. After ISE, you can anticipate some more of these. And as Ryan mentioned, we're going to try to do these as well in different formats, so you get a little bit better idea live how CAMTRAK operates in different types of room environments. With that, I think we're just going to close it up. And sorry if we didn't get to your questions. We had so many today, we couldn't get to all of them, but we will come back to you at some point. And if you're going to be going to ISE, please come and see us. The booth details were shared in the presentation. Love to see you there, and wishing you all a wonderful Martin Luther King Day if you're in the U.S., and a wonderful rest of your week if you're elsewhere. Take care,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.